Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar today. I'm Lisa, the speaker of the first session. Today, we will talk about Synology collaboration and backup solutions. During the session, if you have any question, please type it down in the chat box. Our technical consultants by my side will answer your questions. After the two sessions, please help us to fill out the online survey so you can have a chance to win the Synology NAS for free. Also, we will send out today's PowerPoints to those who filled out the survey. So, please make sure all the information you provide is correct. Before I start, I would like to give a few numbers about the global enterprise file syncing and sharing market. Based on the report, the market value will grow to $17 billion by 2025 with compound annual growth rate of 26.3%. You might wonder, what makes up the big increase? Here we will address three main factors which help to drive the growth. Firstly, nowadays, people are allowed to take their own devices to work, or they can choose to work from home, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak and even till now. It causes company files to be scattered across different platforms, such as your office PC, home laptop, and mobile phone. Secondly, there are more and more collaboration between departments or with external clients. It's hard enough to co-work with your colleagues sitting next to you, not to mention if you are located at different places. What a disaster! So, more and more companies are in need to find out a solution to help increase employees' productivity. And lastly, if you're working at an international company and you happen to be the IT manager, you might find difficulties to deploy IT infrastructure for each branch office and remotely manage files shared to colleagues in different time zones. So, with these challenges, there are three new demands. People want to access files across different devices easily. They want to work with team members or clients efficiently. They want to share files with branch offices automatically, but manage them centrally. If you're using a traditional file server, how does it help you? Well, you can store and manage files centrally and access files through SMB or other file protocols without any difficulty. if you're in the office. What if you're quarantined at home? Then you need to access files through VPN, which is sometimes not stable and inconvenient. So, here is our proposal for you. The combination of Synology NAS with Synology Drive, which provides an all-in-one file syncing, sharing, and collaboration solution. In the following slides, I'll use 4 cases to demonstrate the several main features and how Synology NAS fulfilled their needs. Let's start with file access. Okay, this is a case from NGO. They used to use the self-developed system for file syncing and sharing among 4,000 workers. But the system eventually failed to meet the requirement. Due to security concerns, they didn't choose public clouds but Synology, not just because of having less chance of data leak, but also because of the integration of software and hardware. They don't need to go with different vendors, less troubles, and less cost. With Synology Drive, we offer a single portal for all kinds of files stored on NAS. You can easily get files through multiple platforms anywhere, anytime. It supports web portal, so no matter where you are, you can always access files you need with different computers. And of course, we have mobile app as well. If you're going somewhere without the internet connection, you can ping the file to your mobile device in advance, so you can still view and edit the file offline. Once you have the connection, you just need to upload the updated version back to the Synology NAS. Okay, if you used to access the data through file protocols, Synology Drive also supports them. No need to learn or change your habit at all. Or you can sync files between your PC and Synology NAS with Drive client. This is quite useful for those away from the office, like sales or people working from home. Imagine there's a folder on your laptop connected with a server in your office. Wherever you are, you can always get the latest files through the folder and continue your work, even offline. Here you might have a question. What if I don't have that much space on my computer? How can I sync files from company server? Don't worry. With the feature of on-demand sync, it allows you to have access to all the files on Synology NAS without taking up any storage space of your computer. Only when you download the file, then it's actually saved on the disk. To help you better understand how it works, here's a demo video showing data syncing and on-demand sync. You can see there's a folder on the desktop with Synology Drive icon on the right corner, and that means it's linked with Synology NAS. And there are 2 photos on the left side. Okay, now I open the folder, and there are 4 files in total right now. If you want to edit the syncing rule, you can go to the toolbar and open the Drive control panel. You'll see a list of your syncing tasks. Okay. Click on the sync rules and you can see there are 3 tabs. Okay, you can set up syncing rules based on the file size or file name. For sync mode, there are 3 options you can choose. On-demand sync is here as well. Okay, if you choose one-way upload, that means it will only sync edit data from your PC to Synology NAS. Okay, you can also set up backup task or other general settings here, such as how you like to retain the file when there's a file version conflict. Okay, now let's see how the data syncing works. First, okay, let me open the connected folder on DSM. Okay, you can see files on both sides are the same, right? 4 files in total. Okay, they are consistent. Okay, now I just need to drag those 2 photos into the folder on my desktop. Okay, I have 6 files now. And the notification pops up as well. Refresh, and they are synced to the folder on DSM. Okay, next, let's try on-demand sync. As you can see in the folder, it shows the size of each file. And there are 2 kinds of icons next to the file name. Green tick means the file is downloaded to my computer, and blue cloud means it's still on Synology NAS. And because PowerPoint is not downloaded yet, so it doesn't consume any space on the disk. Okay, now I click the photo with blue cloud. Okay, and you can see the icon change to green tick. It's downloaded, and now it takes out 1.5 megabytes of my disk. Back to the case. To fulfill the large-scale deployment with good performance, the NGO chose our high-end model flash station as the file server and synchronized the files to employees' PC through Drive Client. To maximize the service uptime, they purchased the second flash station to form HA cluster and backup files to a third NAS. As mentioned, because the big scale and big data, they used the SSD on the main unit as Synology Drive database, and the hard disk on 2 of expansion units as storage, and another 8 units of SSD for caching to boost the overall performance. Okay, let's talk about the file sharing. Here we use the case from hotel industry. Before using Synology, file sharing was a headache for them. They either used email or send it through messaging app. But we all know there's a limitation on the data size of email attachment. And besides, you need to download the file first and send it as an email attachment, which makes it hard for IT guy to manage those scattered files. So they come to Synology. With Synology Drive, you can just right-click on the file to create a share link and provide the link to your colleagues or clients. Done. No need to download or do anything else. If you're sharing critical files, you can also set up rules like a password or expire date to make sure only the right person can access the file. And all the settings are applied to mobile app as well. For ID Manager, you can give employees authority to share files internally or externally. To protect data on the PC, employees can set up backup tasks and restore the data anytime without bothering IT Manager. For ID Manager, they can have a better control and centrally manage those scattered files. So after deploying Synology, hotel staff, especially those marketing team members, can easily share big files through share links to their clients. And all the files on their PCs are backed up to Synology NAS, so IT Manager doesn't need to worry about massive files anymore. And now we have solutions for file accessing and sharing. What about file collaboration? If you're using a traditional file server, this client story might sound familiar to you. Okay, imagine when you edit a file with a group of colleagues and you need to wait for the person before you to finish first. Then you can edit the path to the next one. During the process, it's not just hard to track who's editing the file, but most importantly, it's time consuming. Sometimes You might just pass the file to the others, but later create another version and save it on your own computer. At the end, no one knows which one is the latest version. So they decided to go with Synology Drive. Here I would like to introduce another application, Synology Office. It's integrated with Synology Drive and supports 3 kinds of file formats: slide, document, and spreadsheet. With Synology Office, you can edit the same file with your colleagues at the same time. You can also make notes by leaving comments to avoid any miscommunication. And all the changes you made will be saved as versions. You can rename the version to notify which one is the final version, or restore any of the versions whenever you want. It's unlimited. Okay, to manage files, you can add stars or labels as filters to help you find out the file you need easily. Or you can simply put the keyword in search bar on the up right corner. Even you forget the file name, it's okay, because the system will also search among the contents. The customer chose one rack model as the file server. As you can see, each of the department has their own shared folder, and only IT manager has the access to all of them. They utilize Synology Office to collaborate with other colleagues across multiple departments, which helps to improve the office productivity. And last, we will talk about cross-office file sharing. The client is an English learning center with more than 30 branch offices, and due to the privacy concern over public cloud, they were searching for a private cloud solution to help the headquarters efficiently share a large amount of files with branch offices on a daily basis. As a member of Synology Collaboration Solution, Synology Drive Share Sync helps IT managers to sync files between Synology NAS. You can decide how you want to share your files with local offices by choosing one-way or two-way sync. You can also decide the synchronization rules by file size, file name, and who has the permission to access. On top of that, Synology NAS is integrated with Windows Active Directory, LDAP, so users can just use the same account and password for their PC to log into Synology NAS. An IT manager doesn't need to duplicate the existing account system again. So they use 1 unit of DS3617 access as the main server at headquarters to sync files with over 300 units of DS1517 Plus at branch offices by Synology Drive Share Sync. To maximize service uptime, they use another DS3617 access to form a HA cluster. They also utilize Synology Drive Client to back up files from teachers' computers to local NAS. With this infrastructure, headquarters can centrally manage files from all branch offices, and branch offices can get the most updated data right away, reducing lots of time and effort to communicate back and forth. So in summary, Synology Drive provides a single portal for users to easily access files through multiple platforms. You can configure backup and the syncing tasks between your PC and NAS with Synology Drive Client. You can create share links to share files with your colleagues or external clients within seconds. To boost the productivity, we provide Synology Office to help you edit files at the same time. Unlimited historical versions help you to track and restore the file whenever you need. Synology Drive Share Sync helps big companies to share and sync files across different offices with no effort. Okay, this is a basic sizing table for your reference. From a startup with less than 60 people to a big company with over 1,000 employees, we provide a full range of product lines to fulfill your needs. If you have any specific requirements, you're welcome to write us an email and discuss with our sales team for more information. And lastly, as mentioned in the first case, if you want to speed up the performance, it is suggested to build SSD cache. Synology SSD is our brand new product line, which is designed for Synology system to provide a better performance and endurance. If you are a startup or a small company, it's recommended to choose tower models with built-in SSD slots, so you don't need to sacrifice storage space for better performance. As for enterprise, you can go for rack models and choose SATA SSD, which has more storage capacity. For more details, you can check the compatibility list on our website, or again, write an email to our sales team for further recommendation. Okay, thank you for listening. This is the first session of today's webinar. Next, we will move on to the second session. Let's welcome the speaker, Michael.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael Chang. In this session, I'll talk about how Synology's integrated backup solution could help protect your data from cyber attacks. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So this will be our agenda for this session. First is I will introduce to you Synology's backup solution, which is the Active Backup for Business, also known as ABB, and how it is used by our customers for their backup needs. We will also have a short demo to introduce to you the functions of the ABB package. Next is I'm going to share with you the best practice to implement your backup strategy. Okay, now let's get started. In today's workplace, we use various devices to store our data. It could be PCs, laptops, virtual machines, and even file servers. And having a backup for all this data is important in order to protect your company's most important asset. I would like to introduce to you Synology's Active Backup for Business package, also known as ABB. It is an all-in-one management-oriented backup solution which could manage all the backup tasks for your PCs, servers, virtual machines in one central portal. Okay, so currently there are three common challenges that IT managers face when choosing a backup solution. First is they need a cross-platform backup solution. Second is they need to do mass deployment for it. And third is the recurring software license fees. Okay, let us first discuss the first challenge, which is cross-platform backup. In today's world, data is stored in various platforms, like virtual machines, servers, and even PCs, which would then require various backup softwares to do the backup tasks. Now, this would be a daunting challenge for IT personnel to be able to learn and maintain various backup solutions in order for them to effectively back up their company's various devices. Okay, I would like to share with you one of our customers' story, which is Shiseido. Back then in 2017, ransomwares were rampant, and some of Shiseido's employees' PCs were infected. So, in order to protect Shiseido's critical data, the IT manager of Shiseido Taiwan started to look for a cross-platform backup solution. In the past, they had adopted several well-known backup softwares, but it turns out to be quite costly, ineffective, and not user-friendly. So they have requirements that must be able to support cross-platform backup, especially for PCs, servers, and virtual machines. Not only that, the backup solution must be able to back up 500 plus PCs as well as 55 virtual machines. And last but not least, the backup and restore time must be fast. This is where Active Backup for Business comes into action. For cross-platform backup, Active Backup for Business integrates well with various versions and platforms of PCs, servers, as well as virtual machines. Currently, Active Backup for Business supports various versions of Windows, VMware, vMsphere. ABB supports PCs that are running Windows 7 and onwards. For Windows servers, ABB supports Windows Server 2008 R2 and onwards up to Windows Server 2019. For file servers, we support the SMB rsync protocols. For virtual machines, the ABB supports these versions of VMware as well as Hyper-V. Okay, then let's discuss how Synology's Active Backup for Business maximizes backup efficiency. Synology's ABB has two main technologies that plays an important role in reducing storage space and also backup time. One is the change block tracking, also known as CBT, which is an incremental technology in backup, where only blocks that have changed from your file will be backed up to the Synology NAS. Okay, take for example, if your first backup is 10 gigabytes, this will be your first version of the backup file. After that, you might edit or add several files. And then finally, there will be an additional 1 gigabyte of files being generated. So when you run the second backup task, ABB will not transfer files with a total of 11 gigabytes, but only the additional 1 gigabyte that is different from the first version. This will be the second backup file version. Only the first backup is full backup. Then after that, everything is incremental. So only the change blocks are backed up. Next, another technology is global deduplication. This technology can help you save a lot of backup capacity. And in terms of business, saving more capacity means saving more money. If duplication means to duplicate, then deduplication means the opposite. With global deduplication, ABB can filter out the same blocks of backup files that are stored, both from a PC, virtual machine, and physical server. So all files will be compared first. Then if there are the same blocks, then only one block will be transferred to ABB. So for example, say if you want to back up 10 PCs and 10 virtual machines that use the same Windows OS. How many Windows OS will be backed up? Without deduplication, 20 Windows OS will be transferred to the backup server. However, with global deduplication, ABB will only save one copy. Imagine how much storage space you can save with this. With CBT and global deduplication, Active Backup for Business can help to maximize the efficiency of your backups. Furthermore, ABB also provides several other types of restoration options. The first one would be instant restoration to VMware. So for example, when there is a damage to the virtual machine on the production server, which is the original data, by selecting the instant restoration option, the host server will boot directly from the backup image stored on the Synology backup server. The VM backup image will be mounted via the NFS protocol. Then while you are still using image backup, you might generate some additional data. When the original data stored is fixed, with the power of vCenter, the VM can be lively migrated back without any downtime. If vCenter is not installed, don't worry. You can still migrate the VM back offline. This scenario is very suitable for some services which is super important, but performance is tolerable, like DNS servers. Next is the second option, which is the restoration option. This restoration option will be the full restoration to VMware. It's simple. In this scenario, it transfers the full backup of the VM with full disk I/O performance to the original host server. Okay, this instant and full restoration option is suitable for recovering virtual machines that crash. But what if the production server itself has a problem? ABB also provides a third restoration option for running image backups live on a backup server using Synology's own Virtual Machine Manager, or VMM. VMM is a hypervisor that supports several platforms, including Windows, Linux, and virtual DSM. In case there is damage to the production server, you can temporarily change the backup server to be the production server. And after repairing, just export the file. It's easy and practical. If you want to virtualize your server, let's say maybe only one or two, and you don't have a budget for VMware or Hyper-V, you can use this method first. Back up via ABB, then boot up on VMM. When there is enough budget, just export the VM to VMware or Hyper-V. Okay, so currently Shiseido is using the ABB to be their centralized backup solution to back up their PCs and VMs. And by leveraging the global deduplication of ABB, they have saved 52% of their storage space. Not only that, by leveraging a CBT, change block tracking technology, the backup speed has significantly increased. Furthermore, ABB has helped them recover VMs in minutes. These are the impact of using ABB and has helped Shiseido's IT department. Next, we will go through our demo for the backup and restoration of VMs. Active Backup for Business supports agentless backup, protecting your virtual workloads without troublesome installation. Okay, to create a VM backup task, launch Active Backup for Business. Go to Virtual Machine tab and click Manage VMware vSphere. And then click Add to connect to VMware vSphere. Enter the credentials and click Apply. Then select the virtual machines you want to back up. And click Create Task to launch the backup wizard. Follow the wizard to select a shared folder as the destination. Okay, then specify the task name and configure the related backup settings. Set up a backup schedule and then define your retention policy. Click Apply to start up your backup. As you can see here in the status, the backup task is being done. Next, we'll introduce different recovery options in Active Backup for Business. So we've deleted the backed up VM from VMware vSphere. So on the interface, you'll see unknown VM in the list, highlighted in red. For different disaster recovery scenarios, ABB provides 3 recovery methods: instant restore and full restore to VM, and instant restore to VMM. We'll demonstrate instant restore to VMware, which allows you to instantly start a VM directly from a backup file, minimizing the service downtime in case of host failure. Okay, so select the virtual machines you'd like to restore, follow the wizard, and you will be directed to the restore status to monitor the restore progress. Okay, once the restoration progress has been completed, you can see in the status it will be highlighted as complete. That concludes the restoration. All right, the second challenge for IT managers will be mass deployment. For some companies, IT managers would require to deploy to multiple devices. Therefore, they need a backup solution that could be easily deployed to multiple devices in one go. Now, let's talk about a certain IT company's case. So the challenges that they face were they pay $2,000 per year to back up 50 PCs. Now, this is costly for them due to the recurring costs. Second is they needed a fast backup and restoration solution for their processes. Third is they needed the option of restoring a single file or of the whole device. Now, this is where ABB could help. Active Backup for Business is an image-based backup solution. An agent tool needs to be installed on each client, PCs, or servers. The agent tool comes in MSI format, so IT admins can easily leverage the power of domain controller to do batch installation. And aside from that, the IT admins can configure different templates for different groups of people. So take, for example, the financial department, they can do a weekly backup. For the research and development department, they could do a daily backup. For the management team, they could do an hourly backup. It applies to local users or groups, as well as domain users or groups. The only thing that the user needs to do is to log in, and that's all. The backup will follow the template and run at the scheduled time. In the old days, the IT admins need to install one by one. So just imagine if you have 20 PCs or even 200 PCs that you're going to back up. It takes a lot of time. But with Active Backup for Business, it won't happen anymore. Aside from that, for virtual machines, IT managers could simply input the IP address of the VMs for an agentless installation. It's simple and easy to use. Furthermore, ABB offers a self-service restore portal. This will be very helpful for IT admins. Let's say if one coworker or employee accidentally deletes a certain file. The first thing that they do is to pick up the phone and keep calling until someone comes to help. But with the self-restore portal, IT admins' workload would be significantly reduced. Your coworkers or employees can restore or download the file or folder on their own. The file and folder structure in the restore portal is exactly the same, so users can find the files easily, and they could do the restore by themselves. So this is the impact that ABB brought to this happy customer. The agent tool comes in MSI format, So the IT admins leveraged the power of domain controller to do batch installation. They deployed PC backup schedules through Windows AD. The total PC data is reduced to 22.2 terabytes after deduplication, a significant reduction in storage space. And it also alleviated the workload of IT personnel because of the self-service restoration function. Employees could do the restoration by themselves. Okay, next we'll have a short demo for the PC template backup and self-service restore portal. Now, depending on the device type, go to PC or physical server in the left column to create a backup task. You can also use templates to deploy backup tasks to selected users or groups. Once you log in to Active Backup for Business Agent, all the pre-configured templates will be automatically applied. To create a template, go to Settings, Template, and click Create to configure your settings. Now here where you can set up applied users or groups and device types. Okay, click Next and select the backup type as bare metal and check detailed settings, backup schedule, and your retention policy. Click Apply to complete the settings. On the ABB agent, enter the server address and credentials to connect to your NAS. Your backup task will then be performed following the set schedule. Within the agent, general users can directly click Restore Portal to go to the self-service portal, where you can use Timeline to locate your recovery point and perform file or folder level recovery. The third challenge for IT managers is the recurring fees of software licenses of backup softwares. Compared with other backup solutions, Active Backup for Business is license free. You will be able to use our all-in-one backup solution because it is integrated to our Synology NAS. The only cost is just the Synology NAS itself, and the backup solution is license free. With the Active Backup for Business, you'd be able to back up your PCs, servers, and virtual machines without further costs. And don't worry, there is no catch. The backup tasks are unlimited. So again, the only cost for you is the Synology NAS. Then you'll be able to use our Active Backup for Business package. Next is we'll talk about the best practice of backing up your data. For this, we highly recommend the 3-2-1 backup strategy. You need to have 3 copies of your data, maybe stored in production, primary backup, and also secondary backup storage. And store your data in 2 types of media, like your physical devices and a Synology NAS. Then, have 1 copy off-site, maybe to another NAS, or external devices, or maybe cloud services. Okay, let's see what we got here to help you achieve this backup strategy. Divide it into 3 parts. If you want to back up files from many devices to Synology NAS, you can use the Synology Drive, and also you can use the Synology Active Backup for Business package. For backups between the cloud and NAS, there are Active Backup for G Suite and Office 365, also Cloud Sync. Finally, to back up your NAS to other media, you could use Hyper Backup and Snapshot Replication. This will be perfect for this mission. So you can integrate these solutions and complete the 3-2-1 backup strategy for your important data. For example, let's combine these 3 solutions: the Active Backup for Business, Hyper Backup, and snapshot replication. Okay, so on premises, you might have a PC, a server, and a virtual machine. So back up all the data to the Synology NAS using the Active Backup for Business package. Then you could use our Hyper Backup to back up your Synology NAS to cloud services for offsite copy. It could be, let's say, Google Drive or Synology's own Synology C2. Okay? Then you could use Synology's snapshot replication and do the replication to other Synology NAS for disaster recovery. So as we can see here, you can combine several Synology backup solutions and create a full-featured backup strategy for your business. Okay, so in summary, Active Backup for Business provides users a backup solution by using a unified interface to manage cross-platform backup tasks for PCs, servers, and virtual machines. It supports Windows AD for mass deployment of devices. What's more, it's license-free. You don't need to worry about paying expensive license fees since it's integrated to Synology's NAS. And last but not least, it is a complete protection for you and your business's data. Okay, that concludes today's webinar. Next is our Q&A session. And please, don't forget to fill up today's survey. Once you have finished our survey, you'd be able to get the link of today's slides via email. Thank you very much.